to everyone. So I'm going to teach the subject of strength of materials. It is also known as mechanics of solids. So we studied about this subject in our to the second semester, into our second year fourth semester. So that is mechanics of solids is also known as mechanics of solids. So the name is itself suggesting that we can calculate the different strengths of the different materials, right? So already we know there are so many different materials are there like steel, copper, aluminum and bronze. So there are so many different materials and their metals having their own properties, right? So by using the strength of materials we can calculate the strength. So how much one metal, how much strength it will be withstand. So we are going, how can we calculate means, so we will use the strength of material subject to calculate the different strengths of different strengths for different materials. So not only strength, we can calculate the different stresses also. So as we know, all the different stresses are there like shear stress, like the compressive stress, tensile stress, crushing stress. So many stresses are there. So we are going to calculate that stresses which are developed on the material. We can calculate that stresses by using only strength of materials, right? So in strength of materials there are so many concepts are there like simple stresses and strains, bending moments, shear force, right? Okay, deflection of beams, bending moments. So there are so many concepts are there. So we'll take one concept and we'll do that problems and we'll try to solve that problem on different materials, right? So for example, nowadays you are seeing for the building, we'll use what, steel rods. So why we are using only steel, why are not using copper and aluminum means, so the properties are different for steel and copper. For example, you take for Young's modulus of steel is different and Young's modulus of copper is different. So we are using only steel rods, okay, while doing slab on the what building. So we'll use what, only steel rods instead of copper and aluminum. We are not using that copper and aluminum, we are using only steels. Why we are using that only steels, right? Why we are using the steel rods mean that having so separate properties, right? So you know better, we'll use steel rods with concrete. Why we are using steel to the concrete? Why I can use copper also now, I can use what, can use all aluminum rods also. But thing is that steel having its ductility property, so it's having property to expand. So what will happen while pouring the concrete on steel rods? So concrete having the property to what, compress, right? Steel having the property to expand and that concrete having property to compress. So in between the action between the steel and concrete, that slab will be stable, right? So how we will know all these things means, by studying the strength of materials only we'll know about that all those things, right? So now I'm going to deal with the thin cylinder. So there is one topic in our strength of materials that is very important topic, thin cylinders, right? We are seeing the so many tanks are there, petrol tanks, okay, the petrol tanks are there, milk tanks are there, okay, and water tanks also, water tank also there. So the most of the tanks are in spherical shape only, like this, okay, most of the tanks are in spherical shape only. Why they are not preferring circular tanks or rectangular tanks or square tanks? Why they are not preferring, why only this spherical shell is preferring mean? So I will let you know why we are using only spherical shells, okay. You see in petrol tanks, okay, petrol tanks, so okay, and what, water tanks and what, milk tanks, okay. These kind of tanks where we are using in nowadays to transport, right? So why these petrol tanks are in spherical shape? Why these tanks are not in rectangular shape or what? So this is a rectangular shapes, okay, and this is what, circular shapes, circular cross section. So why we are using only spherical cross section? Why we are not using these circular cross sections, and why we are not using this rectangular, and why we are not using this square means? So now I am going to what is the what secret behind the sphere tanks. So now I am going to discuss about the thin cylinders or thin cylindrical vessels, or cylindrical tanks, whatever it is. Thin cylinders are thin cylindrical vessels or thin cylindrical tanks. So thin means, what thin, there are two kind of what properties are there, thin and thick. So thin means it is very, it having little thickness or minimum thickness. Thick means it having more thickness compared to what? Thin. So now I am going to discuss about the thin cylinder. So in GATE they will not ask about thick cylinders. So they will ask about only thin cylinders. Okay. So what type of stresses will be there in thin cylinders? Okay. He will ask questions on only thin cylinder. So what is the efficiency of that joints? So many stresses are there. What is the efficiency of stresses and what are the volumetric strains? So different concepts will be there. So we will solve all the problems. Don't worry about the thin cylinders. We will try to solve all the problems. That to conceptual problems. So no need to worry. So from thin cylinders, we will ask definitely 2 marks. Definitely in GATE exam we will get 2 marks. So entire strength of materials we will get minimum to minimum 10 to 12 marks. So if you perfect in these thin cylinders, you will get the 2 marks absolutely, right? So I am entering to the directly what chapter. So what is the thin cylinder? So first of all we have to know the definition of the thin cylinder. So if the thickness of the wall of the cylindrical vessel is less than the 1 by 15 to 1 by 20th of its internal diameter. This is known as thin cylindrical shell. Okay, this is known as thin cylindrical shell. Okay, so if the thickness of the wall of the cylindrical vessel is less than the 1/15th or 1/20th of the its internal diameter, this is known as thin cylindrical shell. For example, here you see, so this is what things, this is a what one cylindrical shell. So this is internal diameter. Okay, this is internal diameter. So this is the cylinder. So you see, this is the front view of the what cylindrical shell. So this is the front view. So obviously we know the front view of the cylindrical shell is what rectangular. So this is what internal diameter of the shell. So this is what internal diameter, and this is what thickness. Okay, this is what thickness of the wall or thickness of the cylinder. So these both are the thickness and this is the diameter. If this diameter, so if we can say, if thin cylinder, if this thickness is less than the 1/15 to 1/20th. So if the thickness of the wall of the cylindrical vessel is less than the 1/15th or 1/20th of internal diameter. If the thickness is 1/15th or 1/20th of its internal diameter, then it will become the what thin cylinder. Okay, if it is more than the 1/15 or 1/20, if it is say 1/10, so it will be obviously thick cylinder. But if the thickness is 1/15 or 1/20th of its internal diameter, then it should be what thin cylindrical shell. So now I am going to thin cylindrical vessel subjected to what internal pressure. So I am using, for example, you see. So for example, you see, this is the, if you consider this is as what thin cylindrical vessel. So this is thin cylinder. So I am having some water in this. Okay, just imagine. So I am having water in this. So while carrying this fluid to some one place to another place. So the fluid inside the thin cylindrical will be move along the length and its entire circumference, right? So that fluid will contact every wall of the thin cylinder. This fluid will get contact with every part of the water vessel, right? So for example, here this water is contacting the what along the length. So for example, this is the axis. So this fluid is contacting with the axis of the axis of this bottle, right? And is also contact with the circumference of the bottle, right? So this is the what circumference and this is what length. So whenever carrying the fluid from one place to another place, this will move like this. So okay, so while by this movement of a fluid, there will be some internal pressure, right? So some internal pressure will be developed, right? So this fluid will try to move or try to escape outside, right? So whenever that fluid try to escape the from this thin cylinder, so some pressure will be developed inside the thin cylinder or inside this bottle. So by this internal pressure, there may be chances of failure of this entire what vessel. Okay, so there will be a chances what there will be chances to burst, right? It will be blast by this internal pressure. So if you do like this, okay, if you do like this, then there will be a chances of what damaging of this bottle, right? Maybe it will damage, maybe it will damage like this, or maybe it will split into this line, right? It will slip like this, or it will be damaged like this. Okay, so how to overcome this, how to overcome these stresses means, so now I am going to discuss with that only. So there is two kind of stresses are there, mainly in the thin cylinder or thick cylinder. So there may be only there are two kind of thin cylinder stresses are there, which will be developed inside the thin cylinder by the presence of what internal fluid pressure. So I am going to draw the detailed diagram of thin cylinder. So for that by the diagram you will understand very well, right? So I am going to draw the diagram clearly. So so this is the line diagram of what thin cylinder. So this is the internal diameter of the this portion is internal diameter of the thin cylinder, and this is the what TD means thickness of the wall. Okay, so so this is the cylinder internal, this is the thin cylinder. Okay, right? So this is the internal diameter of the thin cylinder, and these are the thickness of the cylindrical wall, right? So these two T's are the thickness and this is the diameter. So while carrying the fluid, whatever it is, if you take water or if you take petrol or if you take milk or if you take diesel, whatever it is, so or if you take LPG gases or if you take anything, okay, so we can say it as fluid. So first of all we have to know what is fluid. So what is fluid? So fluid is nothing but we can't this fluid means we can compress it. Okay, whatever will compress that will be fluid. For example, liquid. So for example, liquid. So this liquid we can compress it to some extent. So this is nothing but this is also fluid. So for example, gases also we can compress the gases also. So this is the one type of fluid. But if you take solid, this is not a fluid. So if you take a solid substance, so this is not a what fluid. So if you take liquid and fluid, it will be the what fluid. For example, I am carrying here petrol or diesel, something whatever it is. So for example, I am taking here as what kerosene or sorry petrol. So by the so I'm going to carry the petrol from one place to one, from one point to second point, like this. I'm going like this. Okay. So here while I'm carrying the fluid, some internal pressure will be developed inside the what thin cylinder. For example, you take so like this, it will act towards like this. So the fluid will be upward and downward direction of the cylinders. Okay. So like this. So upward and downward direction, the fluid pressure will be act upward and downward direction, and also sides of the cylinder also like this. So in four direction, the internal fluid pressure will be like this, right? The internal fluid pressure will act on four directions. So if you take circumference, so what it will act upward and downward direction, and if you take longitudinal, it will act side or the right side and left side also. By this internal pressure, so by this internal pressure of a fluid, there may be a chances of burst the, or there may be chances of blasting of this what entire cylinder. There may be chances of failure, or there will be chances to burst the cylinder, right? So why? Because we'll design the cylinder up to some strength, right? So for example, we are designing this cylinder, it can withstand up to 20 Newton per mm square. Okay, by the fluid, if the fluid pressure is more than this 20 Newton per mm square, there may be chance of failure, obviously. So we'll give some safe pressure, for example, that is 20, but it is developing more internal pressure than the for example it is 30. So what happened, we are given the safe value is 20, but it is whatever we are developing inside, that is exceeding the 20, then what will happen? So obviously that cylinder will be get failure. So we are going to we are going to define what is the exact safe value of how much one tank is, how much pressure it can be withstand. So we are going to calculate that things, right? So this is the cross sectional what this is the side view of the cylindrical wall. So in this also we can see clearly. So this is what thickness. Okay, I will try here. This is what thickness, and this is what diameter, internal diameter, and this is what also again thickness. So the forces will act like this. So forces will be act like this. So entire cylinder, so some internal fluid pressure will be developed, so it will be acted away from the point. For example, it is the center point of the cylinder, so it will always act away from the point like this. Okay, it will act away from the point. Okay, so here, so now we have to consider some parameters here. So while you are designing the thin cylinder, okay, so we have to consider some parameters like so for example, let already let d is equal to what? Internal diameter of the thin cylinder, internal diameter of the thin cylinders, and T is equal to thickness of the cylinders, and P is equal to internal pressure of the fluid, small p. Okay, internal pressure of the fluid. And so also some length is there. So for example, this is the length. Okay, so this is what length. Okay, so and L is the what? L is equal to length of the cylinder. So this is the important concept. So you must note down while seeing this video. So you must note down these parameters. So otherwise you will may get confusion. So for doing the problems or for doing any conceptual, so in order to get any conceptual problem solutions, you have to know this parameter importantly, DTPL also. Okay. So now I'm going to explain about how many types of stresses will be developed while carrying the fluid. So how many stresses will be developed inside the cylinder. So I will going to explain about that stresses. Okay. So here the force due to pressure of the fluid acting vertically upward and downward direction. Already I told you. So the force is due to the force due to fluid pressure. The force due to fluid pressure of the fluid pressure, it will act upward and downward direction. Okay, upward and downward direction. Okay, uh, by this fluid pressure, there may be chances of what burst cylinder. So by this, there may be chances of burst the cylinder. I already told you clearly. So while carrying the fluid, so it will be more like this. So by this internal pressure, by the presence of this internal fluid pressure, there will be chances of burst the cylinder. Right? I already told you clearly. So here I am going to explain by the diagram here. So this is the cylinder. Okay. So if you consider this is a thin cylinder, so I split this cylinder to two halves, right? So this is one half and this is another half. Okay. So I'm split this cylinder into two parts, right? So here the pressure. So this is the what fluid. So here we are carrying fluid. So this fluid pressure is acting upward direction and also downward direction. So I split it into these two parts, right? So here the fluid pressure is acting upward direction and downward direction. So there may be a chances of burst the cylinder like this only, right? It will be split by like this only. Okay. So by this fluid pressure, there may be chances it will be split like this. So this middle part will be downside. This downward middle part of this bottle is will split into two halves. So for example, it will be burst like this. Okay. So this down part will be come downward direction and this upward part will be going split into upward direction. So here, so we have some stresses, right? So here the force is acting upward and downward direction to the entire cross sectional area of the thin cylinder, right? Entire cross section of the thin cylinder. So it will act like this. Okay. So fluid pressure will be act like this. So it will act at the entire circumference and entire length. You know very well what is this is the length and this entire is what cross sectional area. So now another the force due to pressure of the fluid acting at the ends of the cylinder. I already told you ends of the cylinder, right? Okay, like this. So the force of the internal fluid pressure will also act at ends of the cylinder. For example, for this bottle, when while carrying the bottle of water, so you simply take, so this water is also touching to the what right hand, for example, to your left, it will contacting left and also right. So there may be chances of split the what bottle like this. So it will be cut like this. It will go like this and it will go like this. Why? Because how that much fluid pressure will be there. So it will split like this. So this half part will go this side and this half part will be go this side. In first case, it will split like this. It will burst like this. It will go. This half part will be split into this. We can get two splits like this along the length of the bottle. Okay, so it will be burst like this, right? It will burst at the center. Okay, so they will get here two parts, and also here it will separate like this. It will move like this and it will go like this. So this kind of bursts will be takes place. So now for that forces acting along the upward and downward direction and along the what at the ends of the cylinder, there may be they're having some names. Okay, so basically already you might be hear about this. So one is circumferential stress and number two is longitudinal stress. If the stress is acting along the circumference, or the internal fluid pressure is acting along the circumference, then it will be circumferential stress. So name is name itself suggesting that if the fluid acting, if the fluid pressure is acting along the circumference, then it will be circumferential stress. Okay, if the fluid is acting along the axis, so this is the along the axis of the thin cylinder, if the fluid is acting along the axis, then it will be longitudinal stress. If the fluid pressure is acting along the length of the cylinder, it will be longitudinal. If the cylinder, if the fluid pressure is acting along the circumference, it should be circumferential stress. So this is very easy technique to remember what is circumferential stress and what is longitudinal stress mean. The fluid pressure is acting along the circumference, that is nothing but circumferential stress, and if the fluid is acting at the ends or at the axis, its horizontal axis, whenever the fluid pressure is acting along the axis, that nothing but horizontal axis, then it should be longitudinal stress. Sir,